Hey everyone, this is Glaucon slash Yo-Yo-Ma. A lot of people are trying to learn Nex, and there's a lot of videos about just basic mechanics, but I thought I'd make a guide about how to efficiently ent in sub 5 kills, or even down to 430 or 415, because those don't seem to be made as much. And when I was first getting into 7-mans, the first 7-man I did that was faster than 5, and it's like 6 minutes, was in my trial. And so it came up really fast, and so I thought I would make this video, and hopefully this helps people know what to do in faster kills than just random bad teams that are on yaks and stuff. So on the screen here, hopefully this works. Yeah, sorry, I'm recording all of this in OBS. Okay, ready. All right, so yeah, so this isn't perfect. My C4T still needs a lot of work. I'm lagging because of the video recording and because it's a European world. Fuck foreigners. And yeah, and I'm just really bad. So here we go. Standard gear. Tectonic actually really helps because of the defensive bonus. That'll really cut down on food usage. Like a few splashes at any time can really help you a lot. Manny, of course. I don't know why you would PVM off Zerkara and 2K17. And yeah, just pretty standard setup. In the inventory, there's a summoning flask, which I hardly ever touch. I only do it if I remember. A Gothic staff that I never touch. And then a bladed dive switch, which actually really helps as well. All right, so we start the clip, and right away you'll see that I'm gonna miss 10 adren, so that's great. Because I'm fucking shit at this game. So it's going to be, the start is pretty standard. You're just going to ult right away. I'm doing a C4T rotation, so if you don't do that, then no worries. But the primary focus should be getting in a full wild magic and 2 full wild magics and 2 full asphyxiates in one sunshine. Here's something I want to point out. A lot of times people struggle because Nex will drag them. So when she does the elements, she's going to drag, you can see the chinner, the base, and then the other end are going to get dragged in. And that's because they're across the north-south lines, because Nex is on the west side and they're on the east side, they're going to get dragged. And so that's why I sun in the middle and also stand on the west and then move on to my quadrant. So you can see they both got dragged. So this is great. This is a great time to spit out your flanking switches. Make sure to bind your reaver. Blah, blah, blah. All pretty standard mechanic stuff. And then at the end, at like 2.1, if you've done over like 120 or 115,000 damage, that's a pretty good indication that you're doing well. If you have Runemetrics Pro, it's really nice to just know how well you're doing. So now we're going to build on reavers as the amalgations come out. You can see here that I'm at 90%, which isn't ideal. What I should have done was either click on the reaver, and then even before it's dead, if you spam click on the reaver, and then you use your shield abilities or defensive abilities, you'll still gain adrenaline to get up to 100, or just click on next, but that's a lot more inconvenient because you run in whatever. So the rotation on the amalgamation is really important. You just want to vuln, corrupt, wild magic, asfyx, and throw in as many autos as you can, depending on whether you or not use C4T or 4T or whatever. I'm Umber right now because I'm a fucking pussy, and so I'll get help from either the Chinner or the Free Major in a duo base. The Chinner wasn't really helping that much, but anyways, this this is a standard rotation because it's the best abilities to do. And also, if you're chinning or if you're free maging, don't corrupt on the amalgamation because it'll override. But yeah, if you're an ent, just do this pretty standard rotation for the amalgamation, and that'll just the most frustrating thing is when people don't do their amalgamations well. Vuln, wild magic, auto, corrupt, auto, asfyx. And you can see it just goes down without really any help. I don't think I got from yeah. So I just okay, got a like a oh, 2 bills. Okay, whatever, Yeah, so that's great. You're gonna here at the end, if your pillar is really low, you want to switch to Nex for your debrief. You'll probably need a debrief at the end. If you don't, if it's not dead by the time of your last asfyx hit, do a debrief and then a chain. And if you can, do a debrief onto Nex. That'll build adren, of course, but also if you are standing where I'm standing in the surge spot and then you do a debrief on Nex, it'll hit the amalgamation and Nex, which is just nice. I'm going to do some bills and I'm going to surge. The nice thing about surge off global cooldown is you do an bill and then surge. You want to get up your sun right away, and you're going to build to a wild magic on Nex. Depending on how fast or good your team is, you'll get to wild magic before 1.8. So I did there, and then I immediately. So the minions always have a set attack rotation. If you haven't figured that out by now, and essentially when you're at 50%, they're going to be one or two abilities away from their first asphyxiate, and then they're going to build up to wild magic, and then they're going to build up to asphyxiate again, and so that's when you get stunned. So here I anticipate to prevent the stun, but you can freedom. Usually I'll actually freedom. I don't know why I anticipate. I think it was because this was a little fast. So I was like, well, I don't want the freedom to run out. Freedom's really nice because it clears your bleed, which saves food. So I'm going to clear, and then I just did a vuln, and then attacked Umbra. If I wasn't you, I would be doing flanking switches on Umbra because it's always going to be available for that, and then sometimes Nex isn't. During this whole time, you're eating up, and then the focus is on getting 2 wild magics in your sunshine. This is really important. Soul split switching is really important for Nex, both before your onslaught because you need the health, but you don't want to brew up too much, and also because it just saves a ton of food. So I'll point it out in Zaros phase, but you can see when Nex is going to hit you and when Nex is not if there's a shield on you before her attack, and I'll point that in Zaros phase. So here I just did, if you go back, here I just built up to 100. I made sure I was full health and actually overhealed, and then I did a vuln into onslaught, and that just really helps. People don't vuln because they suck, or you don't have a dedicated free mage, which you shouldn't anyways. But it's just a good time to vuln. Also, I vuln. If you go back, I vuln as I sun as well. So that's just and if you get in the habit of just vulning at certain times, it's just really helpful for the team. Cancel the onslaught. Don't be a fucking pussy. I don't know if people know about this, but if you get iced, you bring Dominion Mines, and you freedom immediately, and then click 2 mines down, and that'll move you away from the ice spot, which saves you damage. And it's so nice because you're not going to ice any teammates, and it's also you're not going to take any damage, and also you're not going to get an ice in Zaros phase. You're not going to get ice effect. So doing a bill surge. So you'll see I'm not going to get the ice buildup from the Glacies pillar. Blah, blah, blah. If you don't know, you can flank the southern 2 pillars, and I'm actually pretty sure that you can flank the northern 2 if you stand on the wall as well. The pillars all face south, technically, and so that's how so you can flank them. And you'll see I move up to the northern wall here. My flanks aren't off cooldown, but I would. See, now I move up and I flank. Also see that the Chinner is calling the pillar order. That's pretty standard if you have, well, it should be standard. A lot of Chinners are shit at it or don't do it. In duo base, I prefer if the free mage does it. I B2 a lot, and it just seems like the free mage should do it because they're just not doing anything else. But yeah, so it's important to make sure you know the order, of course. And so you're soul splitting all of this. This is a solo base, and then you do fartank, and we do fartank during Zaros phase, which I think is fine. You don't actually gain a lot of DPS with the 7th person, I don't think, because a lot of people are brewing and eating. So here I enter the last crystal with 100%. This is a reasonably fast team, and so I nat right away, and then I sun. Some people say you shouldn't nat. I think it's good because you get in more thresholds for sure. And it allows you to get up to 100%, pretty much guaranteed. So I'm starting my thresholds when I'm at 80%, and so at the end I have no worries that I'm going to be 100%. So here you can see there I just hit 1376, and there I just hit a 1, but you can see there right there I just had a shield on me, so I know the next one isn't going to hit me. The next attack, so there's a shield, so the next one's going to hit a 0, so I switch to Soul Split. It's not, I don't see a shield, so I switch back to Mage Spray. I don't see a shield, so I keep Mage Spray on. And then my focus is just on, if you really want to do a lot of deeps, you want to push your thresholds at the end as far as possible. So that could mean like ending below 100 and just using abilities after the fight is over, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to do a lot of deeps, like in a challenge or you just want to help your team out, make sure you're pushing your abilities your thresholds as far as possible, and that'll really improve your DPS. So that's one kill. I have another one, and I might do more for like B2, for Chin, for Free Mage. The only difference between Ent and Free Mage is that as a Free Mage, you're responsible for vuln and for Gothic Staff, and I think for calling minions. And then there's a few methods. I can make a more detailed video, but you're gonna nat on Nex at 2.1. So thanks. Hopefully that helps. I'm shit, so don't take this very seriously. Yeah, thanks for kills.